Starlink deployed confirmed.
So you can see the Starlink satellites gently floating away from the second stage.
I'm sure you are hearing a lot about SpaceX Starlink satellites lately. So why SpaceX is creating Starlinks? How is it crucial for the Mars mission? Let's answer all these questions and discuss other major uses of Starlinks in detail. Maybe you love to spend time camping and fishing near mountains, but soon realize that you don't have access to your dear friend, the internet. Or maybe you live close to an urban area and still facing crappy internet speeds. Then probably Starlink internet is a solution you should look at in the future. SpaceX Starlink can become the dependable high-speed internet connection for rural areas and for places with little or no connectivity. There is no better time than now, as COVID-19 have already increased the demand for a global internet connection, with work from home and meetings without travel becoming a norm these days. Although the internet became popular from the 1990s, only about 60% of the global population is connected to the internet as of 2020. There are also big differences if we go from region to region. For example, in Europe, more than 80% are connected to the internet, whereas in Africa, it's less than 25%. And I believe at least half of them who are online are still using internet services with low speeds and high latency. Starlink is a constellation of internet satellites in low Earth orbits that can provide internet connections all over the globe. As of December 2020, SpaceX has already launched more than 950 Starlink satellites. Now Starlink is open for beta testing for users in the northern USA and in parts of Canada, where people have already reported good download speeds averaging between 100 to 150 Mbps. Starlink product development began in 2015, and now at the time of making this video, Starlink's production capacity is at 120 satellites a month, where 60 satellites are launched at a time using Falcon 9. But later on, with the completion of the Starship, SpaceX should be able to deliver at least 400 Starlinks to Earth's lower orbit in a single launch. But why Starlink is a big deal in the world of satellite internet? Of course, the first reason, as discussed, is that high-speed internet can be made available anywhere in the world. Usually, more advanced internet technology and related infrastructures are only provided to metro cities and nearby areas with high population density. Remote areas with less population are mostly ignored, as it's very expensive to lay fiber optic cables in these areas. Mobile network towers are comparatively cheaper, but it requires a large number of paying customers in those areas. A remote Native American tribe called Hoh Tribe in Washington state is among the first to get an internet connection through Starlink satellites, which helped them to enable remote learning and telehealth access. Their internet speeds before Starlink ranged between 0.3 to 0.7 Mbps. Imagine how much growth Starlinks can bring to such communities and several other communities in Europe, Africa, Asia, and other countries worldwide. We can expect early adopters of Starlink internet from rural areas to be businesses, schools, hospitals, government offices, community groups, and some freelancers. Reaching individuals in rural areas and to establish in other developing and poor countries means more challenges in terms of affordability. Most individuals in rural areas are not choosing internet services because of high pricing. To be a truly global internet leader, Starlink will need to look into ways by which they can make access to their services as cheap as possible. For example, at the moment, initial expenses to get started with the beta version of Starlink cost about $499 for the satellite dish and Wi-Fi router and about $99 a month for internet service. If Starlink can bring down the cost a bit more, and if they can give an option for buyers to rent antenna and the router on monthly basis, I believe they will be able to attract a much larger customer base. Mission to Mars and Starlinks. The main purpose of Starlink satellites is not only to provide internet for rural places on Earth, but a much future vision is to build similar constellations for the planet Mars. These constellations can help in many ways. First of all, it helps to bridge the communication gap between two planets by transferring information from Mars to Earth much faster and on time. Another benefit of building these constellations around Mars is that it will provide early internet access to the first residents of Mars. If Mars gets colonized like Earth in the future, this is $1 trillion opportunity for SpaceX and Starlink. But these are all much into the future and it's not easy as it sounds. According to Elon Musk, SpaceX satellite launching business will max at $5 billion in revenue per year. But Starlink internet services can bring in about $30 billion a year when in full operations, which is more than enough to cover all cost of SpaceX, Starlink's and their ambitious Mars colonization. So in a way, Starlink's success is closely linked to Mars mission funding and its rate of success. US military and GPS navigations making use of Starlink's mega constellation. The global positioning system consists of around 30 satellites orbiting 20,000 kilometers above Earth. Each satellite broadcasts a radio signal containing its position and the exact time. But those signals are already very weak by the time they reach the Earth and can easily be interfered with. US military depends heavily on GPS technology. As per their research, Starlink constellation in low Earth orbits can be used to provide near global navigation services. Algorithms that are used in Starlink GPS receivers identify its location within just few centimeters rather than few meters. They make use of the GPS radio signal and its built-in programming to improve location calculations. Overall computational power and efficiency of Starlink satellites are much superior to traditional GPS satellites, and more importantly, SpaceX plans to deploy about 42,000 Starlinks in next couple of decades. SpaceX and Starlinks bringing healthy competition and fast modernization. SpaceX and Starlinks have already paced up the need for efficient technology, speed, and cost reduction. We have seen how NASA, with decades of space experience, has partnered with an ambitious team of SpaceX for various missions. OneWeb, a competitor of Starlink, was acquired recently by the UK government and Bharti Global from India. They plan to boost rural broadband connectivity in India and other developing countries, including those in Africa. Samsung, Telesat, Amazon's Project Kuiper are all in the race for satellite internet services, as they have seen the future opportunities and impact it will have worldwide. All this competition and technology means that our world is gonna change faster than we expected. We'll be benefiting a lot from this healthy competition between SpaceX and other private and government space agencies. We all know about the Great Firewall of China and how countries like Iran, Syria, North Korea and others are controlling major portions of the internet for their population. So can someone like SpaceX make the internet available for everyone and everywhere without any restrictions? Sadly, local governments still have a final say on the legality and usage within their country, which is another hurdle I see with Starlink to become that global success. If not Earth, there is Mars. I guess rules on Mars are not dictated by any government bodies. More videos on SpaceX Starlink satellites will be released soon. I will go deeper into their technology, explain how they work, and see some latest developments in my upcoming videos. Please subscribe and make sure to follow my channel for more exciting videos on space and satellites, AI, computers, and many more. See you soon. Bye.